The following program is sponsored by the Salvation Army. Welcome to the Salvation Army Christmas Spectacular, a celebration of the season and the spirit of giving. Now, here's Cowboys legend, Darren Woodson.
Hello, North Texas, and welcome to the Star, headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm so honored to join the Salvation Army of North Texas today to bring you messages of hope in what has turned out to be a challenging holiday season. The pandemic has had unprecedented effects across the world, and the Salvation Army of North Texas is no exception. As the region's largest social service provider, demand has never been greater, and so are the challenges to raise resources to serve those in need. Half of their budget for the entire year is typically raised during the holiday season. But, as we all know, this year has been far from typical. They need your help. So tonight, we'll share inspiring stories, get some visits from a few surprise guests, and learn what it takes for the Salvation Army to rescue Christmas for your neighbors in need. On November 5th, they and some of my fellow Cowboys alumni hosted an early Thanksgiving distribution at the Carr P. Collins Center in Dallas and the Mabee Center in Fort Worth. Here's Taryn Jones with more.
What's the recipe for hope for the holidays? Well, first you take the Salvation Army, add in a little Albertsons and Tom Thumb, sprinkle in a dash of the Dallas Cowboys, and in just a few minutes, you'll get holiday magic.
This year looks a little bit different than it's ever looked before, but we wanted to make sure that we kept that tradition going.
With COVID, we've been unable to do things the way we normally do. There are so many unknowns. People are losing their jobs, and so this is our opportunity to be able to give back.
This time of year, we're all thinking about food, and that's what we're providing here today.
I always partner with the Salvation Army and the Dallas Cowboys is because in my own life, the same principles were very important.
There are many ways you can give back this year. You know, the money that goes into our kettles helps fund our programs year-round. We are currently housing about 1,300 individuals a night.
We don't know their story. And then for me, that I am unfortunately to be in a position to do that, I think that's the most rewarding.
As I get older, I realize that life is beautiful, but the beauty in life is in one another and the choices we make to help one another.
To see their faces, to know that there are those that we're helping that may not be helped anywhere else.
Happy holidays, North Texas. I know all about the generosity and compassion of my fellow Texans, and the Salvation Army's need for donations has never been greater than it is right now. Please consider helping your less fortunate neighbors by visiting salvationarmynorthtexas.org and donating today. Thank you.
We're going to hear today from several people whose lives were transformed by the Salvation Army of North Texas and their many programs. Here's one compelling story from a woman named Crystal.
I started doing meth at about 12 or 13 with my uncle. My life was pretty chaotic because my dad was a drug addict. We lived in the car a lot. I was homeless. My family had pretty much had enough of my addiction. They loved me, but they couldn't handle it. I would steal from them, and I wanted it so bad. I'd rather be under a bridge and have my drug. I was just tired of hurting. Tired of letting my family down, my kids. I went to jail, and I got into a program, a direct court program, and that's when I went to UGM and applied for housing, and that's when Salvation Army picked me up. It was amazing. I just felt like a weight was lifted off of me. It was so much support, the loving, like People were just so kind to me, and I never really had that on the streets. So it was just really powerful to me. I got approved for housing. My case manager told me that I got approved, and I was so excited. I never knew about this program in my addiction. I guess it wasn't time. I got a job within, I think, the first week that I was in my own place, and that was a blessing. I went to key personnel, and the first job they threw at me, I took it, even though it was really not much, but I was grateful for that. I love going home from work and having my own place, and being able to pay my rent and, being self-sufficient for myself. I believe that it was the power of God, and He restored me. It talks about that power greater than self, and that power just flooded me, and I don't even think about my addiction anymore. I don't let my mind go back to that, because I don't even want that kind of life anymore. I see myself having all my kids back. I see myself restored with them and living the dream with my kids as a mom. Salvation Army is amazing. It's a powerful program. It's success. Just know that there's help out there now. And anybody that's struggling, that they don't have to struggle or be alone, that there's help. And people do care.
The challenges North Texans face didn't begin with the pandemic, but the devastating effects of COVID-19 have made everything in the country more difficult, including the important work of the Salvation Army. Here's Jay Dunn, Managing Director of the Salvation Army of North Texas, to tell us about the enormous steps they're taking to keep the pandemic from slowing them down.
What's happening right now is extraordinary. The speed of change in our community is unlike anything I've experienced before. The negative impacts of the pandemic are being compounded by significant increases in poverty. So far, we have provided pandemic services to more than 100,000 people in Dallas, Tarrant, Collin, Denton, and Ellis counties. Combating poverty by providing emergency financial assistance and food, offering academic and recreational programming for children and youth, and fighting homelessness by providing shelter and housing. These investments are increasing hope throughout our community, as is our making emotional and spiritual care available to help North Texans cope with anxiety and fear. Thanks to our officers, soldiers, and staff, our community is ensuring the Salvation Army remains committed to doing the most good. This work is part of what is stabilizing North Texas and providing a foundation for recovery from the pandemic.
You are not hidden. There's never been a moment you were forgotten. You are not hopeless. Though you have been broken, your innocence stolen. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true. I will rescue you. Oh, I will rescue you.
G'day to you, North Texas. It's John and Luke here with For King Country.
Yeah, and we just wanted to say to all of you, and particularly to the Salvation Army, or the Salvos as we call them in Australia, thank you for helping us and partnering with us in rescuing Christmas in 2020. The first Christmas we actually had in the States, we weren't able to give one another gifts as kids, and a first grade school class found out, and they basically sponsored our Christmas. And so after such health and economic challenge this year, we thought, what if we partnered with Salvation Army to offer gifts to hundreds, if not thousands of kids.
Yep.
And you were a massive part of that. So this is us saying Merry Christmas and thank you, and look forward to embarking on a new year with you very soon.
There are so many ways to give. At any time throughout the program, you can donate at salvationarmynorthtexas.org. There are contactless giving options for Red Kettles this season. Donate digitally or host your own virtual Red Kettle at virtualredkettleNTX.org. And as always, volunteer to be a bell ringer at registertoring.com. Coming up, another success story from a persistent mom who made the most of what the Salvation Army of North Texas has to offer. But first, a message from our favorite supporters.
At Tom Thumb, we know that this year, many of us may be staying home for the holidays. Let us help fill the season with the same great holiday flavors you know and love. We offer a wide selection of fresh meat and seafood, and our oven-ready roasts are cut daily by our in-store butchers. Plus, you'll find all the trimmings for your holiday table. Make this season merry and bright with Tom Thumb. Save time on your holiday shopping. Simply order online for convenient delivery or curbside pickup. Tom Thumb, DFW's grocer since 1948.
Moving our economy for 160 years. BNSF, the engine that connects us.
The Salvation Army of North Texas Christmas Spectacular continues.
My 2-year-old had COVID. I knew something wasn't right because she slept and she wouldn't eat, she wasn't talking. Took her to the hospital. Her heart rate was literally almost 200. To watch your baby go through so much and you're helpless, all my hours got cut. Literally to probably 10 hours a week. I was at a very bad patch in my life. If it wasn't for the Salvation Army coming into my life when they did, like right now, I honestly don't know where me and my kids would have been living. And I was looking around and I was referred to the Salvation Army through my counselor. You're not just a number or a client or a file on somebody's desk and then it gets tucked away. To know that somebody out there actually cares. We built a relationship. She became a personal friend to me. And then I got a lot of personal advice on how to just think about what's needed and what's not needed. When I get in a situation, take a deep breath. Don't overwhelm myself. And it's just not about the Salvation Army as far as rental assistance. You have the Salvation Army thrift stores, you have the Salvation Army Career Center, people that help you with your resumes, help you with job assistance, help you with school if need to, resources. It was about bettering me. So when they're done assisting me, I have the tools and the know-how to assist myself in the future. I'm a very analytical person, so I think really, really hard. Thoughts that most people probably wouldn't say, whether it would be spiritual or funny. And I told my kids one day, we need to put these thoughts on a t-shirt. When I brought it up to my friend at the Salvation Army, caseworker, she encouraged me. So she literally helped me organize everything mentally, and with the money that I saved, with the assistance of the Salvation Army, allowed me to get the materials and the machine and things like that to get it started. So I had the pleasure of being a stay-at-home mom, still bringing in income, and still spending time with those I love, which are my kids. I feel like people that work at the Salvation Army are superheroes. They gave me my life back.
I'm Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, North Texas. I'm Irving Mayor Rick Stover.
Well, good afternoon. I'm David Hill. I'm the mayor of Waxahachie.
I want to thank you for your generous support, but remind you that there are many in need this holiday season.
Your support will help put food on the table, presents under the tree.
For many of the families that are in need of assistance.
Thank you for caring. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
As we've learned, the pandemic has created truly unique challenges for the Salvation Army of North Texas. They can find creative ways to handle most difficulties, but they need our help, and that's where you come in. Christina Cavalier, Senior Director of Community Relations, is here to tell you how North Texans like you can make all the difference.
Many North Texans will be facing one of the most challenging holiday seasons they've ever experienced. The same is true for the Salvation Army of North Texas. We've never faced something quite like this. Since the start of the pandemic, our expenses have grown by 20%, and with requests for help anticipated to increase, we need more donations before December 31st to ensure that we can meet the increasing demand. In a typical year, the Salvation Army raises nearly half of our raised revenue during the holiday season. Due to the closing of retail stores, consumers carrying less cash and coins, and the decline in foot traffic, we expect that fewer dollars will be dropped into those red kettles, which means generous support like we've heard about tonight is more important than ever before. We know we can rely on our community's generosity to help us keep food on tables, roofs over heads, and presents under the trees. This is North Texas after all.
You heard her. It's time for us to step up and help our neighbors in need. Visit SalvationArmyNorthTexas.org to learn about all the ways you can help. Your generous donations help put food on the table, roofs over heads, and provide hope to those struggling to make ends meet this holiday season.
When I hear Salvation Army now, it means family, it means hope, it means friends. Nobody likes to ask for help, but I mean, you have to start somewhere, and I'm glad I did. I am the single parent of 3 boys, and back about January and February, I came into a situation where I felt that I wasn't going to be able to make sure that my bills were paid on time. So there was days I'd work half a shift, which means that my money was less and my bills were still coming. So I turned to the Salvation Army, and they had a Home Sweet Home program that really helped me out, keeping people in their homes and not out on the street during a time like this where we're wearing masks and we have to be so far apart from people. So being able to go into your own house, they've definitely helped a lot. Getting into that program, I realized that the program was so much more. They were worried about not just the rental assistance, but your well-being after the rental assistance. You're not alone. There's lots of programs that will help you. I took a financial class that was very helpful. It helped me realize what was more important, the things that I did need, the things that I maybe didn't need. I feel really good about that. That makes me feel that I'm important to them, because they didn't just stop after they paid what they paid. They keep going and saying, hey, we're still here after everything if you need anything. I mean, it means a lot. Next year looks so much brighter for me because I'm already where I need to be to start the new year off. I just want to say to anybody who's watching, don't ever be afraid to reach out for help. Because if you don't reach out, if you don't have a plan, you'll only stay in the position that you're in.
I'm Charlotte Jones with the Dallas Cowboys. For 24 years, we've been honored to support the Salvation Army. This year, they need our help more than ever. Many North Texans will be facing one of the most challenging holiday seasons they've ever experienced. Your support helps put food on the table, presents under the tree, roofs over heads, and provides hope to our neighbors in need through their hardships now and those that may lie ahead. We know North Texas has a generous giving spirit. Your compassion this season can help the Salvation Army rescue Christmas. Make a gift online at SalvationArmyNorthTexas.org. God bless and Merry Christmas.
'Twas the night before Christmas, but in this lonely house
was nary a crumb big enough for a mouse.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care,
but hope for a treat no one ever did dare.
The children all snuggled asleep under cover,
dreaming of gifts wrapped in bright, festive color.
And I with my worry and Mom with her dread
laid down for the night in our old makeshift bed.
When what to our wide open ears did we hear?
But the ringing of bells and the spreading of cheer.
A bright, lovely soul with a plate of hot food
served one and all
and brightened our mood.
With a nod and a smile,
a hope and a grin,
the angel turned on our utilities again.
As she left in a flash, without a rhyme or a reason,
she gave one last reply. God bless you this season.
Hi North Texas, it's Meghan Trainor, and I'm inviting you to help me and the Salvation Army of North Texas rescue Christmas for our neighbors in need. All your generous donations are going to give hope to so many of those families who are struggling this year to make ends meet and to feed their families. So thank you so much for your donations. We appreciate you. We love you. Merry Christmas, everyone. Mwah.
Here comes one of my favorite parts. Right now, the Salvation Army of North Texas has teamed with Reliant Energy to surprise the Walker family with $5,000 in free electricity. That should keep them warm and powered up for a year. And the Cowboys are throwing in a few treats as well.
We had so much fun last night at the Star in Frisco with the Dallas Cowboys and Reliant Energy. They joined us to rescue Christmas for the Walker family. They were able to arrange a virtual visit from Jalen Smith, which they really loved, and Reliant Energy gave the Walker family a free year of electricity. And they got to have a shopping spree with Cowboys legend Darren Woodson. They went through the pro shop with him and were able to get all the Cowboys merchandise their hearts could desire. It was so fun to see their smiles and hear their laughter and see how much fun they were having. That's what Christmas is all about, and the Salvation Army is at the heart of that. This was the perfect example of how we can help those in need and rescue Christmas for North Texans this holiday season.
As North Texas prepare to face one of the hardest holiday seasons ever, the Salvation Army is bracing for challenges to raise resources to serve those in need. Next, we meet Majors Todd and Bethany Hawks, the Salvation Army of North Texas area commanders.
For more than a century, supporters of the Salvation Army in North Texas have enabled our staff and volunteers to help our neighbors combating poverty, addiction, and homelessness.
This Christmas will look much different for tens of thousands of our neediest neighbors. Many friends who once could give support to the Salvation Army are now knocking on our doors for help. Please hear us. Amid the tremendous challenges we're all facing, we encourage us all to remain focused on the true meaning of Christmas and the joy of helping others. From an early age, I remember running downstairs Christmas morning and there was a gift under the tree. I remember that doll with the bright blue eyes and the brown hair, and it was a doll that looked like me, and that came from the Salvation Army.
As the region's largest provider of social services, we take our mission to help those in need whenever and wherever very seriously, especially during this unprecedented holiday season. We hope you will join us.
The need has always been there. The need for food, shelter, clothing, compassion. The need for help overcoming addiction. The need to support families. Love the forgotten. Lift up the downtrodden. The need has always been there. This year, it just happens to be greater. More families than ever are facing poverty. If you need help, please reach out. If you can give help, please reach within.
The exact moment in time when my life truly, truly changed, and I knew it was going to change, was the day I stepped out of my car and walked into the Salvation Army. I had a great child life, all the way up to graduating high school. My addiction didn't start until I was 27 years old, and my life spiraled out of control within months. When I gave birth to my son, CPS was waiting. They took him directly from me at the hospital. I was told that I would never have my children back. I knew at that point that I had to fight with everything in me, pull into the Salvation Army. And when I opened the doors, there's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life, Miss Meacham. And that's where it all started. When I came into the Salvation Army, I was in the START program. That program allowed me to find self-worth. I had a reason to wake up every day. My first success was getting a job, my very first job in 10 years. The Salvation Army pieced me back together the day after I got into my apartment, that I was sponsored through the Salvation Army. My son came home. I am able today to be at every single function that my children have. I get to be there. I tell my story often. I tell my story loud. I tell my story proudly.
Happy holidays, North Texas. I'm Kane Brown, and I wanted to invite you to help me and the Salvation Army of North Texas rescue Christmas for our neighbors in need. Your generous donations help put food on the table, presents under the tree, and provide hope to those struggling to make ends meet this holiday season. So God bless and Merry Christmas.
We thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you found the stories you've seen inspiring and the calls for help motivating. We need your help. It will take everyone to help rescue Christmas for our most vulnerable neighbors. Every donation provides help and hope to North Texans in need. If you are in need of assistance or are able to help, visit SalvationArmyNorthTexas.org. Helping rescue Christmas for our neighbors, it's what Texans do.
We pray. We pray the world heals. We pray families grow strong. We pray kids don't go hungry. We pray every head has a roof over it. We pray those struggling with addiction overcome it, and those who've lost jobs can keep the lights on. We pray that all those who are hurting can find relief. We pray for more love, more hope. Now is the time to put hands and feet to our prayers. With more people facing poverty, our community needs our help more than ever.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Salvation Army.